Hit the lights!
You've discovered the Halfwatt Podcast. We want to educate and entertain by tapping into the most trusted source of new technology, the ones installing and innovating it. You, the tradespeople that build from the ground up. Join us as we talk with industry leaders, veteran contractors, and even some young blood.
Welcome back to another roundtable episode of Halfwatt Podcast. This week, I'm joined by two great friends of mine, Gerardo.
How's it going?
And Adrian.
Hello.
I'm going to need you guys to talk louder.
Oh,
We're recording from my house. It's not what you would call a professional setup. It is what you would call expensive equipment sitting on top of a low coffee table.
Also not round.
Yeah, and it's insult to injury that they're sitting on IKEA chairs.
Shout out to IKEA.
Hey,
This ain't a plug.
Yeah. Oh, I take that back. Very hard to put together furniture is what they're sitting on.
Right.
And surprisingly, it's last 7 years with these things, unlike every other one of their products.
That 7-year streak ends tonight.
Long lasting. Yeah.
Closet Bills fan. So
I was just going to say, I was like, hey, it's never too late to become a Bills fan. But
by the way, totally not. But
anyways, just real quick before we really get into it, don't tell anyone where you work, but kind of just give a small background, and then we'll get to joking around and talking about everything that we hate.
Cool.
Gerardo?
All right. I guess where do I start? Just like how I got into the industry, or
if you want to go real deep in, but
But preferably not. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just
well, I got a job.
checks watch.
Well, I'm employed, so
Exactly.
I'm doing something right.
Hey, in this economy,
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
For real. That's for sure.
you have a mortgage. That's nice.
Yeah. Yep. Got that 2021 locked in, or rate locked in. So
Yeah, this dude's saying
Yeah,
that
right.
2020 rate. Well, okay, so I'll start you off.
okay, cool.
I think you were a little ahead of me in the apprenticeship, but you were an apprentice.
Yeah, I started the apprenticeship in 2016. Yeah, it was September 2016, and ended sometime, I guess, late 2019.
You do sound very sad about it. Like,
I had to sit
you're.
back and think.
I was
Those were
like,
my best years.
I'm
Oh, jeez.
I'm getting like
not.
9/11 news vibes. Like,
Oh, jeez.
I hate to tell you guys this, but I did become an apprentice in 2016. The second term hit,
Yeah,
and
right.
I think Tyler might cut this. That was
Yeah, no,
a little edgy.
that 9/11 joke was just like, good gosh.
I was like, I don't know. I keep on seeing videos on it on Facebook. Maybe we can like lightly touch it now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna hit my algorithm. That's all I'll see from now on.
Yeah. I'm just whispering it into your phones, like trying to change your algorithm.
Anyway, so I just had to think back to how far I was like actually in the apprenticeship. Just I guess as time goes on, just just gotta sit back and think like, man, it's been that long. you know? So. So
Adrian, you were 2016 too, right?
Yep. Correct. Yeah.
And I was too.
Yeah, and at a point we were all in the same class. From
Yeah.
time to time.
Were we really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in that fire class together. I thought that guy was from. Could I say the company?
That's the first time I met Tyler. We worked at different companies, but
Yeah, I mean, if it's the class I'm thinking of when I was in the class with him. Oh wait, then we must have all been in codes together, right?
I don't think it was codes.
Not codes, but before
Fire?
Maybe we weren't all three together.
No,
not at
maybe
the same
because it was
time.
like,
Because I remember there was that really tall white dude with like that like shorter guy that kind of actually looks like Gage, but like he just like he actually really did look like he was.
Right.
I had to really think back. I was like, dude, I don't think that was Gage,
Yeah.
and I mean, I still don't think it is to this day, but.
Well, I mean, it's a tough class to get in. Me and Adrian, we did share a few classes. I mean,
Yeah, the me and Gerardo finished.
chance.
Yeah. So
Codes together.
Yeah.
I think
the last class.
Yeah, one term before me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I had enough hours to like skip ahead in the apprenticeship, so I was able to double up on a class, and that's where I met him.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then yeah. So then after that, we ended up in codes. I guess the last two classes together and whatnot. So yeah, been working in the industry since, well, I don't know, I guess 2015. I think I did a lot of work over in different states. Some work in California, some work in Texas, all 2015. And then after that, found a company that put me on into the apprenticeship program and got in that way.
What were you doing before?
I was in a different career. I was doing cell towers. We're doing commissioning, troubleshooting. We were building full sites and whatnot, and it was pretty cool work. It was a lot of travel work, so it really interfered with like my life, I guess. So,
yeah.
Because like I'd have to live like wherever like the work was at, so they had us like working out of a lot of the work we did was out in like Norfolk when I was doing cell towers. But like I'd always been wanting to come back to the West Coast because I'm from Washington, and I thought, West Coast. Anyway, so if I had always just like been planning, I need to like somehow like if I can get a job in Seattle, that'd be great. And then lo and behold, when I come out here, I was like, it was decent weather, but then it started raining, and like the first thought I had was like, oh, we're not working today, and they were like, dude, where are you? Like, you're late, like you're not at work. What's going on?
You better find out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then after that, like, cause I enjoyed the work, it was cool. Like, you'd get up on a really tall tower, and get a pretty cool view, and just work. It was just, I don't know, it was just like you just have to be pretty athletic or pretty, just. I guess fit to be doing the job in the first place. So when I got out here, like it would be like low 40s, raining sideways, because like once you get up on like up that high, like up 100 and 200 feet high, the wind's just blowing sideways in that rain. Like even if you look down, like you're still getting like rain right up into your face.
The world is revolving the rain up there.
And it would just be windy, it'd be cold, and like I don't know, like sometime around 10 o'clock you'd be like drenched wet, like your socks and your drawers would be like wet, and it's just like, well, you got like 7 more hours of work and you better hurry up because we're behind. So
yeah, you start being like a logger.
Yeah.
You got the three sweatshirt rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, then you'd be up there, and then like if you're up there working, like they're not just gonna tell you to climb. Like the only you're not really just climbing down for nothing. Maybe like going to the restroom.
Yeah. Well, now that you say that actually makes way more sense.
Yeah. So you're really not ever really coming down like that. So it was like once I worked back out here, and I came back to Portland because I had some contacts and stuff, and they got me on. They got me on with the cell tower company out here.
Is that when you started wearing wetsuits at work? Because when I first met you, I thought that was a weird thing that you did.
I'm wearing one right now. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
No, that whole thing was a joke. Yeah.
Still taking off guard. But,
he's like, I couldn't change my sweatshirts, so I wore a wetsuit to stay warm.
Yeah. But once I hadn't really like kind of didn't really have a backup plan. I was like, well, I guess it's just either I like do this work here and like deal with it, or like I considered moving away. And but since I was a low man on the totem pole at that company, they kind of had their guys, and they're like, oh yeah, like I wouldn't have seen myself as an outcast, but I think they might have seen me as like they hadn't got a lot of like tower time with me and whatnot, and like they thought like, oh, you're supposed to be like this this dude commissioning sites. How don't you know how to build them and stuff? So and maybe they had like that type of animosity towards me. So the second like that job in California came around, they're like, well, hey, like you get to go. And then like when I get there, like we're living out of this hotel, and oh man, that was like early 2015, and what did they do? It was pretty good work, and it was like really good money. So at the time I was making maybe like $17 an hour, and then they had me working doing prevailing wage work out there.
Oh, nice.
And at the time it was $30 an hour, which was like in 2015 was like probably the most money I had ever seen at that point.
So is this still with the towers, or you're
yeah.
now,
So it's still with the same company. It's the same company, but like over in California they had like I guess they're like a national company. I really haven't even figured out what they do, but like they just do like they do communications. So when I was working out here, it was cell towers. That was the part of the communications. But out in California, they had like an underground utility company where they were doing like fiber and like underground communication.
Oh, okay.
So they had like pitched it to like us because like they were really behind on the schedule. They're like, hey, we need some guys that can climb a tower. But at the end of the day, it was like this like 40-foot tower that like 18, 20 feet up. Like it was like on like a pin or something, and at the bottom like you pull the pin and the tower would come down. So like there was it was well like it would just like rock, like imagine like a I don't know, like a teeter-totter maybe or something like that, just standing all the way up, and like you take the pin at the bottom out and it would fall. Like it was really, there was really no even climbing at that point, and then they realized it was a bad design because when you're testing out RF, like a lot of times when you're troubleshooting, you get a bit of dummy load at the end of it, and that's kind of like it's just kind of like putting the test load on it, and you can't dummy load the end if you have you can't tip the tower over and then like test it because like the connection's at the bottom. So if you take the connection apart, tip the tower over, the connection's like 7-10 feet up in the air, and like you need that connected to completely. It's like a troubleshooting step, you know. So they ended up finding themselves like ordering bucket trucks and stuff like that because they don't climb towers, and they already have all that equipment anyway, so they're gonna back up a bucket truck and whatnot. So
you're obviously not afraid of heights.
No. I mean, maybe now, like now that I'm a little older, but like when I was doing that job when I was like 21 years old. No, I wasn't. I mean, I'm still really not, but I haven't been up that high since then.
I am afraid of heights. Adrian, how do you feel with heights?
I wasn't bad at all when I was younger, a little crazy, but now I'm getting older. Like, I mean, a little bit more being on a tall ladder or up in the scissor lift, you know, than
and the thing with cell towers is like depending on the design, like so they have this there's like 3 like pretty basic designs. One's a guided tower, which those are really the tallest towers. Those are like can be up to 1,000 feet, and those have the wires like whole like supporting it. And it's just this little, you know, it looks like a stick from like where you're at, but that's one of their like it's a really big design kind of in the Midwest because like it's really flat out there, and they can really just put a ton of microwaves on top of like on the top of the towers with their RF devices, and they can really just like make that signal just go for miles and miles and miles.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, well, it's convenient
for them.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
not for us.
Yeah. Well, then that's when like those are the towers are like around 1,000 feet high. And those are ones that you have, like you can like get lifted up with like they call them a double-headed cat head or something, or cat head winch or something, and that's like industry legal for that. And you can like they tell you like you can't come down on a cat head. A cat head is just like a winch. Like you you get a rope, and this winch just basically helps you lift some stuff up the tower. Like it'd be like the fully built like antenna with its bracing, or just like a little radio head or something. And some like you can write it down, but it's like extremely unsafe because you're just kind of relying on like the guy feeding the rope to the cat head to not let go. So like obviously it's a really big safety hazard. Now the double-headed cat head winches or whatever they call them, those are ones like they've like I've kind of like heard like you can come down on that, but I've never seen one, or like I've never seen it happen. I've just kind of heard throughout the industry like anyway, so.
Yeah, you know those videos where like dudes are like they're climbing like into the sky to like change a light bulb so that planes can see it.
Yeah, and that's their one job is to change the light bulbs of each. Yeah,
and they're just so high up, and you're like, man, you make it to the top, and you're like, man, that sucked. And then I'm like, how sweet would it be if you could just like have like a parachute backpack and then like jump down? Have you ever thought about that? I say that, I'm like, God, I wouldn't want to go back down. I just, free fall.
I've again, like I've heard of people doing that. I haven't seen
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, like a lot of times, when you work in that type of industry, and I don't mean a bad shit. I'm sure there's a lot of really great people that work there. So like, people that do work in that, if you're hearing this, don't take it the wrong way, but like it kind of has a reputation for like having like a lot of like meth heads and like alcoholics and stuff like that. So
someone afraid of heights, I would probably have to
to cope with
to
my
get
job.
up that tower.
Yeah, and so
I close my eyes on the way up in roller coasters. I can like I love like the fall, but those like really big ones. I mean, you lived on the East Coast, like Busch Gardens and stuff.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Like those really high ones. Going up, I'd be like, oh my god, oh my god, and just like eyes closed. And then as soon as like we peaked, I'd open them and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be sick.
Hope nobody heard of that.
And is it just a slow climb?
It's a slow climb that bothers the hell.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because once you like take that like all the way down,
it's really not slow at all, actually. Ironically,
the slow climb.
No, I meant like once you like get to the top and then you like free fall down. It's
yeah. Like once the free fall is going on and then you're like going way up after that. I'm cool through the rest of the
then
one.
It's all action.
That's probably just adrenaline too. So yeah.
And I love roller coasters, but I was very afraid of heights, like pretty much my whole life. Mm-hmm. And then through this career, I had to learn to not be afraid of heights.
What, are you just at the top of a 4-foot ladder?
Dude.
6. Sorry.
Yeah. I peed my pants on an 8. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm good with like regular ladders. Like even from the beginning, I'll go all the way, fast all the way up to like a 12-foot ladder. I'll stand up. I used to stand on top of it. What's the statute of limitations?
For any safety coordinator listening, at the top.
I don't do it anymore. But it was like lifts.
Yeah.
I hated lifts. Then my journeyman, we won't say his name. If you want his name, you'll have to go back to another episode. It'll be good for the numbers anyways.
Get more views on the other video.
He had me like drive and like park a boom lift, which I was fine, no worries. I actually kind of liked how bouncy it was. I was like, nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Gotcha.
And I was like a first or maybe second term apprentice, but I think I was a first term. I didn't know you could control it from the bottom too. And as soon as like he got us into like a wide open parking lot, he took control, and I was like, why am I going up? And I looked down, and he's like, not gonna be afraid of heights anymore.
What, do you go to lunch after that or what?
No, he did max me out, and there was some spinning, slow spinning involved. But it was at that point where I was like, oh, I'm not afraid of boom lifts anymore. Like, I'm totally cool with boom lifts. Scissor lifts, the small ones, I'm still, easy day. But like the 50-foot scissor lifts, I'll still get like a little like feeling like
just
when I'm maxing them out. But
have you ever been in the single man scissor lifts?
Oh yeah,
a one person one where it's just you just kind of get into the little cage,
and
you don't have room to walk around.
Right.
I went up to the, to the max height, and I could just feel it swaying a little
11
bit.
feet?
No.
Yeah. It was like, no, it's like 26 or 32
yeah,
or
20, 30
like
feet, up into the risers, and
but before,
it used to scare the shit out of me, but now I'm good.
Yeah, I wasn't done talking about the cell towers though. That not to
go back to the cell towers.
I feel because I started with the guided towers, but anyway, so. And I won't take too much longer on this story, but like...
You said that you didn't know what the company does earlier, which I thought was funny, and this is going to be a very quick interruption.
Go ahead.
But, so I imagine they were building towers for either Sprint or T-Mobile. Anyways, what were you saying?
No, they weren't building. No, because there's other companies that do the building, and there's other companies that like come and like,
Oh, so you weren't like actually like erecting them, but...
No, yeah, we weren't stacking towers. We were, at that point, we were just like, the tower was already built. I think we were Sprint at the time, like RIP.
Okay, all right. So I was right.
They were Sprint, but they were ripping out their current infrastructure that was all like copper based, and then they moved to all fiber. So like there would be companies that would come in, like build a site, commission it, and everything, and then we would just they'd call us a Tiger team, and we'd just come and just check the work that those guys were doing. But
Tiger team,
yeah,
nice.
I didn't come up with the name.
Nice,
I like that.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm not...
The spotter was constantly doing karate, like just out in the open field, like just punching wheat.
So, anyway, so there was the guided towers that were the really tall ones. They had the 3-legged ones. They're called they had several names. Like one of them was like they'd call them lattice towers or fuck. I swear, like I can't remember that now. But it's basically a 3-legged tower, and you get to the top, and I don't know. So like those were the most stable towers we had, and those the other towers we had were monopoles, and those were the ones that were like really what were they called? They would sway back and forth a lot. Like those would be the ones that.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I'm talking like maybe like 2-3 feet each way in the wind, and like you'd get to the top. Sometimes they'd be skinny enough to the point where like you could like hug them. Yeah. Like I could like wrap my arms around them and like touch my fingers and stuff. So it'd be really skinny at the top, and yeah, those would be the towers. Like depending on like the weather and stuff. Like it wouldn't be raining because on the East Coast we'd never like if it was ever raining we'd never climb. It would just be a day off. But
I remember that.
Yeah, it was like what they call them, like a rain day or something.
Yeah, because there's no like thunder or like lightning storms out here in Washington.
No, not really, not like that. Maybe not very common at least.
But like I also lived in Virginia.
Yeah.
The same time that you did, but I would
which is like really funny, honestly.
Which is very
I think
funny.
about that all the time. Yeah.
We literally lived in the same state 3,000 miles ago, and then just happened to pick the same trade here.
Yeah.
But no, it like if it rained over there was like a 90% chance that it was like lightning and thunder. Like when I moved like back here for a couple of years in high school, and I was like playing baseball, and I was like, oh, we play through rain here. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Because it's a lot of fun to play baseball in the rain, but you couldn't over there because like.
They just call it off.
Yeah, because it'd kill a 16-year-old. Those aluminum bats.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. But anyway, so those monopoles would sway a ton, depending on like if it was a shorter tower, it wouldn't sway as much. But like even like when you're at the top of like let's just say like 130-foot tower, and like there's this guy coming up behind you, you definitely feel the tower rocking as he's climbing to the top and whatnot.
And it's designed that way. Kind of like
you're asking the wrong guy. I'm sure they were designed for that.
Yeah, like they seismic, right, to let it sway.
Yeah, because wasn't that great invention in architecture, electrician, like tall ass buildings in like Chicago and New York, they literally sway and they're designed to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like you. Anyway, I'm not the engineer.
If it breaks,
I'm the wrong guy to talk about structural engineering.
As long as it sways back, you were okay.
As long as it finds dead center eventually, we're good.
But yeah, so now like when we deal with these lifts and stuff like that, they don't really bother me. Sometimes the boom, like the articulating boom lifts do, just because like you catch a swing, you're going way faster than you expect, and you try to stop and slow down, you really just kind of.
Yeah. Right. Like you weren't ready for it.
Yeah. You kind of got to brace for that, that stuff.
Oh, I mean, those things throw people.
Oh yeah,
every year.
Yeah, they really do. And so anyway, so after I how did I get? Anyway, so I was working in that industry for a while, but then once we did the California work, they were kind of slow at that communication company. So they had a ton of work pick up in Seattle. They had us do some work in Seattle, like for about a week or so, wiring up an apartment complex. And then we did a lot of work in Texas and Dallas. And that's kind of when I got like the real introduction of like doing like low voltage work. We were doing, that company had a contract with Google One doing Google Fiber all over like these apartments in like downtown Dallas and Austin and stuff. So
that had to have been a sweet contract.
I mean, it was cool, but like I had like I meant
for
the
fun. Owner.
Yeah, no, no, it's a big company. Like they had pretty good benefits and stuff like that. It wasn't like some dude like just had like guys meet up at his house or something like that. It was a company.
What are you trying to say? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. This studio, So anyway, I guess at some point, like again, like then I was back in the whole quagmire. Hey, I'm trying to get back home and work. Like, why can't I do this job at home? And although I did have a blast, traveling and like working in Texas and stuff like that, then not my wife. We had just kind of like we were trying to like live together and like make our lives together and whatnot, and then just hey, like I'm traveling again. So anyway, one day I get an apartment, and one of my neighbors worked at a company that does low voltage work, and one day like he had worked like nights or something, so like I would try to catch him in the evening, but he'd never be there.
Right.
And his van would always be there like once I had to get off of work at like 2-3 in the afternoon. So at one point, like I like finally like maybe a couple weeks after like I had moved in, I'd like his van was on and I'd like see the light that was on. It was like letting it warm up. So I asked him like, hey, what do you do for work? He was just like, oh, I do this. Do you why are you asking? I'm like, oh, hey, I do this type of work just in a different state and I want to be doing it local. So anyway, got me an interview with the company, which is funny because like the guy was the owner of the company was asking me like, hey, like how did you get like my information? He's just kind of asking about it. I was like, oh, right. Hey, like this guy named Chris gave me your information, and like lo and behold, like I was referring to like a Chris that was my neighbor, and they had this guy named Chris that was like their like maybe like their top tech or something, right. Like running like a ton of their jobs and stuff like that.
But everybody hates Chris.
Yeah. True. But no, so he thought I was talking about him. So I was like, oh yeah, this will be great. If he referred you, yeah, you got a job, no big deal. Like come to find out that wasn't the guy that referred me.
You must be something special then. Yeah, let's get you on. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So anyway, I worked at that company and but they were just doing the whole like, hey, you're the warehouse guy / terminating ends type of deal, and helping them pull a cable. And once I finally got into the apprenticeship, I got on with the security company, was there throughout my whole apprenticeship and a little extra, and then I just found my way to my current company now. So, yeah. So I guess long story short, or long. Anyway, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so specialize in security, Nexus control cameras. I guess just the basic Berg stuff, there's just kind of 3-in-1. I mean, not really, but just because access control can totally be its whole entire thing on its own. Cameras can too, and so can Berg. But
right
when like with the smaller companies that like I guess our division kind of targets, they tend to marry them pretty well. So like, hey, we do one or two 3-door access controls, doors with your security system, and then we'll also throw like 5-6 cameras. Obviously, I've done way bigger jobs and stuff like that, but I just felt like the last year or so, that's kind of been like our niche. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for actually giving us your career story. I totally forgot that you did cell towers and all of that, which is actually, it's very interesting. For the listeners, if you have forgotten, Adrian is also here. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Saving the best for last.
I was just messing with you. Adrian, in let's see, in 27 minutes or less. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not done about cell towers though. I need to go back to this.
No, go for it.
So, what's your experience picking up your phone?
No, but I gotta say one last thing about that. I have a buddy works for like the railroad industry, and he does towers.
Oh, nice.
Communication towers, like for the trains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he always posts pictures of where he's at and the views of just being out there in the mountains and isolated areas. It's amazing. Like so.
Yeah.
Oh, it has
shout out to them being up on the towers. And,
beautiful job.
And then the views up there. Yeah.
Because a lot of times, they try to pick like strategic areas. Like hey, this mountaintop would be great. So it'd be like a 20-foot tower on this like, I don't know, like 3,000-foot like mountain or something, and inside in a valley. So like, one of the coolest towers I ever did was like in like I think it was like South Carolina, like north of Clemson, in the Smoky Mountains area. And we were doing that like right as autumn was coming in, so all that like the foliage was starting to creep in and stuff. And it was actually a pretty cool tower. That was one of my last towers on the East Coast. Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, the views are amazing. They really are.
Country roads take me home.
Exactly. Yeah. A nice line of sight out there. Mm-hmm. But so on my background, so I started in low voltage industry in the 90s, where I was working, as an apprentice under somebody else's license.
Well, working at Radio Shack?
Working for,
That would be so funny if he said, oh, yeah, actually. Yeah. Geek Squad, actually.
Yeah. Were they around then? 90s?
90s, yeah.
For a company based in Arkansas. So they were working for, retail stores. So
Radio Shack?
Well, can I say the names of the storage locations? Oh yeah,
so they do all the time.
Yeah, so we did contracts like with Walmart.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool.
So this is what was the time when they turned into superstores.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was doing, was rollouts and adding
gotcha.
fiber optics and
wow.
pulling Cat5 cable for the communication. So a lot of those Walmart stores.
Oh, gotcha. Nice.
When they turned in, added like the grocery side. Yeah, so I was pulling cable for that early. In my younger days, that's when I wasn't scared of,
Oh, yeah.
pulling all those cables on the scissor lift.
You young pup over there.
Yeah, exactly. Then I went into the semiconductor industry afterwards. I didn't stay with pulling cable. So I switched and went to the semiconductor industry. And then after some years, I got out of the fab.
Yeah.
Running the machines and working on the machines. I got out into the facilities side of it, and I got into like life safety.
Oh,
so that's when I started testing like fire alarm systems for the campus and HPM. It's like hazard product material, making sure the gas pads and stuff were shut off correctly and stuff. And that's what kind of brought me back into the low voltage industry, is like, yeah, we can test the systems, but we can't do any programming. And I see another company coming in, the experts, they can do the programming, they can, actually really touch the stuff. And that's why I was like, well, that's what I want to do, not just test and exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's what made me go back into finishing the apprenticeship and getting my license, LEA license. So
you started it in Arkansas?
No, so I covered the Northwest. So,
okay.
So it was a national company, yeah.
Oh,
and they did rollouts,
Arkansas,
yeah. So that's where they were based out of.
Arkansas, Walmart.
Then they have,
that tracks. That tracks. Exactly. Largest gun selection out of any Walmart.
Yeah, they had offices over on this side too, the West Coast, in California, and I was kind of like the remote technician for covering Washington, Oregon, Idaho. So
nice.
That's kind of my territory. Yeah.
Did you work in Idaho?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, and Utah. Yeah. I even went to Salt Lake.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And as a young guy, it was like kind of cool, just kind of being able to travel, see different cities, and like places are different. You know?
So I always found that to be the best. Like, I mean, not maybe the best way to travel, but like I'll travel on someone's dime is always kind of nice. You don't have to worry about the hotels and stuff. That's all kind of paid for. And per diem, I'm sure, was decent.
Yep, per diem was decent, and visiting people. Me living in Portland area, working in Seattle and stuff, it was nice to see people, see old friends I went to school with and stuff. So
catch up, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
I tell you what, the Mormons picked a great state to kind of flee to and start their base, because Utah is gorgeous.
Yeah,
oh
it
my
absolutely
God.
is.
Great linebackers also.
Yeah, they do have some
Utah is a linebacker school.
Yeah, I could think of like 2 off the top of my head, 3 maybe, but anyway, yeah.
Those guys aren't Mormon, but the basketball teams.
No, yeah, 100%. No, they're not Mormon.
No. Bobby Wagner? No.
Yeah.
Didn't he come out of Utah?
Yeah,
he played for Utah. Yep.
Yeah.
Jordan Brooks as well, right?
I want to.
I think he did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not.
It was
somebody fact check that.
Somewhere around. Yeah. We don't have the studio anymore.
Yeah.
Kelly, can you check that?
Fact check.
He'll get back to us.
Yeah. Put in the comments afterwards.
Right. Yeah. We'll release it after.
Exactly.
After we post it.
Yeah.
No. And then Iowa, obviously. This has nothing to do with electricity.
For real, it does not.
Utah is definitely the linebacker school, and Iowa is, I mean, if you want a tight end.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, they really are. The tight end,
Or, an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah,
Iowa's
definitely.
Also.
Yeah. It feels like that's shifted towards Penn State in the last, 15 years. They've been kind of the wrestling.
Yeah, Dan Gable got old. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Iowa State had Cale Sanderson, and now he's coaching Penn State, and they've kind of they've kind of been like the Alabama of wrestling,
the powerhouse.
Yeah,
100%.
I haven't followed it in so long. It's been 8 years. But anyways, both of you guys, thanks for being here, telling the backstory.
Yep.
They don't need to hear mine.
You sure?
If you're really interested, I won't tell you what episode, but just keep on listening back.
Episodes
to
1
be
through
good for the numbers.
Yeah.
No, but we're doing pretty good. I think we're allowed to announce this actually, but Halfwatt you guys already know Halfwatt got invited to the Milwaukee Pipeline. So
congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Next month, I can't wait to spend 3 days at their.
You gonna take your Milwaukee heated jacket?
I don't have the heated jacket.
They might throw one in maybe.
After
they hear this, they'll be like, you need 3,
Yeah.
one for Gerardo and Ranger as well.
Yeah. Working in the rain. Yeah, you need that heated jacket.
Right.
I have a call tomorrow with them. I will see what I can do. I actually do. I want to ask them for another piece to go along with my pack out kit.
Merch.
No, I want to actually build Milwaukee Pack Out is literally the only company where this would work, because I have a full. Don't get mad at me, Milwaukee. I have a full rigid, whatever their version of the pack out kit is, also in my truck, and clearly a big difference between them. That's why rigid carries all my parts, and
gotcha.
all my nice tools are in the Milwaukee. I need the sturdiness.
Nice.
But what I want to do is with the wheeled pack out, I want to actually build this setup exactly into the pack out kit.
What, the podcast setup?
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be nice,
from the actual pack out kit, we could do something like this,
on your service call.
Super quick. Yeah, on service calls definitely. While clients are paying me to be there.
Exactly.
When'd you get into real estate?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I'm super excited about that. Going to Milwaukee, love them.
Nice.
They don't pay me to say this. But God, I love those tools.
Yeah,
they are pretty nice, actually.
They're so nice.
I gotta say something. I saw Makita came out with a coffee maker, and ever since then, I've been wondering when Milwaukee's gonna, come out with their version of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just as a fellow fan myself, when are they gonna come out with that?
Yeah, you have more Milwaukee tools, power tools, that is, than I do at this point.
Yeah, that weed eater's been very nice, actually. I had to sit there and crank I think I had an Echo weed eater, and it was good, but then I the gas mix ratio. I guess one of my buddies was telling me cause I have a steel chainsaw. They're like, hey, you shouldn't mix that, and I was like, yeah, you know what? That's a perfect excuse to go buy a weed eater now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I used your not chop saw, but
the miter saw.
Yeah,
the 12-inch
miter
saw.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't believe how much of my flooring I did with that freaking Milwaukee miter saw, dude.
Yeah, and I still have the original blade that came with it too. I think I've done 2 or 3 homes flooring.
Yeah, he was like, you might need to change the blade, and I think the blade's probably Diablo. I love, dude, their blades are so nice. But, anyways,
yeah,
moving on. We used to do this kind of segue, and I kind of want to bring it back.
Do it.
And I'm sorry for kind of springing this on you guys.
By the way, we don't know what you're gonna say.
No, they have no idea. The segment, and we still have to make the music and everything, but it's called "What in the Hell Is Even That?"
Okay.
From the video. So we want to make dun, 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 what the hell is even that? But we'll eventually get there. Yeah. But basically, how it goes is we all say something totally batshit that we've seen, that we just can't believe that we kind of saw, just the construction fail videos that we always see.
Geez.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, because I just kind of surprised you guys with this, I'll go first.
All right. Go ahead.
And it's incredible. I'll post it on the Instagram when this episode comes out. But I was stopping at my local Chevron.
Oh my gosh.
Just to get some beer and beer they had just repaved, and I hop out of my van, and I go around, and in the middle of, I'll pull it up while I'm talking, in the middle of the parking lot, there's just like wires, like in the asphalt with wire nuts on them, and the wire nuts are like also like crushed perfectly into the asphalt. And I'm like, what could that possibly be?
Was it
and two,
was it Monday? Was it a Monday? You think they probably just were like really hungover? They're just like, we're just trying to get paid. Hurry up.
Right, dude. And it looks like a crop circle, but here's the picture I was talking about.
That looks like that's like the circle of like a storm drain or something, depending on how big that is.
So some high voltage wires.
Yeah.
With some lug nuts.
I mean, they're wire knotted together.
Smashed into the ground, into the pavement. Yeah.
Totally not.
I ran over it.
Yeah, totally not code.
It's I know. I was like, how?
Oh yeah.
I was like,
I don't even know what to say to that.
Dude, I was like Poe from Kung Fu Panda. Like, how?
Like that video? Oh no, he was saying why. Sorry.
Oh, why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Why?
The gas station attendant. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's.
But the gas pump's not working anymore. But
yeah, I was like, what could that even be for? Because I've been going to that gas station for years. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't there prior to the repaving.
Oh, geez.
So I'm like, what does this power? Also, has anyone heard of a junction box? I'm like, one box could have fixed all of this.
Yeah, or maybe just go around. Maybe put like a what do they call those, like landscaping boxes or whatnot? The ones with the green lids. They could have probably done that in there instead of running straight. Well, I guess if it's going to the pumps, maybe, but
I mean, the asphalt company had to have just been like,
you could cut the red wire and see what shut off. So
I was gonna say that's another thing too. Like it has like a load and a line. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, well, that's it. Okay, so it's obviously not 120. You would imagine it's probably 240 or 220, 240 at that point.
Yeah.
If it has a load wire,
and no existing light pole would fit like that location. Like this is like in the center.
No,
you don't have a gas pump or something before.
No, I mean, I highly doubt it. I mean, this gas station has like 2, 4, 6. It's only an 8-pump gas station.
Gee, you do go there a lot.
And well, I mean, like, if it's the one that I fill my van up at for 4 years, I'm gonna remember how many. Very quickly, if you asked me how many my Costco had, I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
15.
But no, this is like right behind the small parking lot, like the 2 parking spots. It's like between the 2 parking spots and the actual like pumps.
Oh, geez.
So I'm just like, no, they definitely didn't have like a light pole in the center of this already very small parking lot.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But
that's funny. Yeah, I don't know what that could be, but I'm sure you're just one disconnection away from figuring it out pretty quickly.
You know what I really want to do?
Then you'd be an asshole. They're gonna, what do they say? Shit where you eat. Like. Yeah. Oh, hey, let me just ruin this. Shit. Yeah.
Well, I'm just like, I mean, even if you called an inspector out, what are they going to say? Yeah. Like, what can you do at this point? They're not going to make them dig it up, you would think.
I mean, maybe they would.
And that's why I ain't no snitch. I'm not telling. I mean, I guess I just told a bunch of people, but they don't know where I live, so.
Yeah, no, they probably, right.
But I want to do that, the Shane Gillis, like, I know you guys like, effing around, or I know you guys like having fun. I used to have fun myself.
Oh my god!
But this right here, this has
gotta stop.
Yeah. And just like have like my face or his face in it, and just this picture.
Yeah.
We'll see how good I get at editing in the next like 2 weeks.
Oh, gotcha.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I promise.
Okay. It's okay. Yeah. We'll set the bar low, and anything you do above that, it's just above and beyond.
No, the height of my Instagram abilities, because I do run the Instagram.
Oh, gotcha.
Is one picture, background music, put a little bit of writing on the picture. Yeah. And I'm like, perfect. Perfect.
Run it through Snapchat, put your little wording over it.
Oh, that's actually a good idea.
You're welcome.
But anyways, I mean, you guys don't have to answer. But does anything come to mind?
I can't think of anything not off the top of my head.
I work service, so it just so much comes.
Well, recently you've been at some construction sites. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary.
Oh yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, we were doing this job. It was close to our office. I was working there for a good while. Yeah. No. Now that you mention it, that, it was more or less of a design flaw that I think the construction company had or something.
The GC.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I had befriended the one of the electricians on site, and he was telling me he was complaining about something about how they had a. Oh fuck! I can't even remember now, but I think they had put like laid asphalt down, and for whatever reason, like the storm drains, they were like too high, so they had to like rip out the asphalt and then re-asphalt it again.
What? To get to a certain level?
Yeah, it was something like that. I think they also had to tear it up because something about them having like power, like I think their conduits or something like didn't like make it all the way through and. To like it was something like he had just mentioned it in passing and he was bitching about it and like I was like, dude, I'm just trying to get my alarm system up. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just going on and on about it. It's like, yeah, now we gotta take down the power for the whole block so that we can make our connections again and stuff like that. And yeah. I don't really think it's F-ups that will get like left usually on construction sites. It'll just be like, hey, what asshole thought this was a great idea, and then just kind of bring it up in the what are those 8 o'clock meetings or something like. All right, well, don't do that again, and then just kind of make fun of them.
It's gotten approved through the pre-planning. And not until like the final. It's like wait,
once they laid asphalt the first time, just like
this isn't right.
Who did this? And, but. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. It's just construction. They're just really working there until it's done. Because no matter what, they got to get it fixed, So they can bitch about it all they want. But it's like, well, all right, call said company out here and have them fix this. And it's construction usually.
Roll with the punches and stuff.
You kind of just got to go with it. And if it's not, again, like if it's not working, like you got to, like whoever did said, screw up has to fix it. So
I miss construction so bad.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. No, I do. I loved it. There's a reason I became like a foreman for
what part of construction?
All of it.
Oh, yeah.
I just like being on like big jobs. I hate small jobs. Like when I go, I mean, now I don't because I'm service, which we're not doing really any. I mean, we have like huge jobs and then like little ones.
Right.
So it's like that's a little different.
And I'm sure you would see probably a lot more fuck ups on service because it's just like, they got it to work and then they just got paid and left. Whereas like, I don't know. I can think of that service call me and you went to at that hospital.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how did that
old stuff?
How did that ever get like commission or how did that ever get okayed and whatnot? So like you're probably going behind people that were in a rush or something, or maybe like the wire was like landed somewhere and they had to move it somewhere else and now it's too short and maybe go splice or something. I could see
honestly
that.
most of like the newer stuff that I ever touch usually isn't our stuff. Like I don't even know how this works or why it makes sense, but sometimes like we'll lose a bid, to a client or something, and then that company will, whoever won it, cheapest bid,
the cheapest bid, yep.
They'll install it and everything. Like at least twice a month, we have like a existing client for service. They're like, we just had this project go on, and now I need you to fix it, and I'm like. There has to be warranties. Like, there's no chance we're the only company that has install warranties. But it's actually pretty rare that I ever have to go like behind like anyone on our company. And usually when it is, and I was just saying this to a client the other day. What I've noticed a lot, especially like post-COVID. The quality of our parts coming in are not as good. The plastic, the plastic's the same, the feel's the same, but I like Linnell, for example, and I'm not shitting on Linnell. I personally believe wholeheartly that Linnell makes the best access control system.
I'm not shitting on them, but
yeah. The Kanye, yeah. I ain't gonna tell you what race they were. And immediately says it.
Just that's what they are.
But no, like they are like by far my favorite. Their boards are made by Mercury. Mercury's awesome. But like every time we have like a slightly bigger job where we're installing like new boards to like an existing system or even new boards by themselves, like the systems are crashing like within a week or two once they get high traffic. And I just go and re-download the panel or whatever, and then it doesn't have a problem after that.
Oh, weird.
But like it never used to do that. And then like all like the big name brands that we're using, like we've never had more out of box failures before than we are now.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you have to go back out and change a board and replace it with a new one?
Yeah, so like most of the actual like warranty work that I ever do, if it is us, usually it's never like a I don't know, like not malpractice. We're not doctors, but like incompetence. It's not usually incompetence.
I see.
It's usually like actual like part failures.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
The wires are landed correctly.
Yeah, like
terminals.
Everything looks good, and then all of a sudden this, obviously not 2 week old, but like maybe like 4 month old power supply that didn't really have any actual
interesting
work that it's been doing over construction, but we commissioned the building and a month later it's burning out.
Right.
I'm like, that did not happen before.
Yeah, right. Power supplies are pretty basic for what they are. Like it's just the power and maybe the fuse if they're built in.
Yeah. I mean, and now a lot of the stuff that we're all putting in is all resettable fuses. Mm-hmm. So there's no actual fuse. Like it trips. Like it's almost like a breaker, but you don't even like reset the breaker. Like it resets itself, which is kind of crazy. But
kind of nice.
It's nice.
No service call for that. It just does it on its own.
Except for when the drywaller or somebody cuts it or puts a nail through it, and then your resettable fuse is like go reset, and you go to the panel. They're like, 3 of the 8 doors on this board aren't working anymore, and you go there and you're like, why are the resettable fuses? They literally just look like plates of like shiny like whatever aluminum or something.
Yeah.
And then you touch it and it like turns to dust, and you're like, oh.
That didn't reset one too many times.
It don't.
It ain't gonna reset no more.
Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah.
But I guess, Adrian, you're not in the field anymore. You're in the office.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that earlier. But yeah, I got out of the field.
Promotion.
Went to the operations side of it.
Right. Became an ops manager.
Ops manager, for 3 years. Yeah, and then this year I decided to switch over to sales to kind of give that a go, kind of see the all-around picture of
for sure.
each phase of the company.
So when you say in the office, right?
Yeah.
How much are you really in the office?
Site walks are required and checking.
This is actually why we brought you here.
Yeah, exactly.
We really want to know how much.
Exactly.
We actually haven't seen you in a long time. We just need to make sure you're still with us.
Yeah. Adrian.
But, people in the office are always just a phone call away, right? If they answer, if they decide to answer. But
the minute I find out how to do my job from home.
Resettable switches, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Resettable fuses.
Yeah, people in the office are probably out on the field dropping off a new board or dropping off extra parts.
Yeah. No.
It's usually what happens.
Stop at that gas station, check on that wiring.
Yeah. Adrian's been like, not an ops manager for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm sure those guys are like, dropping off parts and all this. I'm like, oh, how fast you forgot me.
Exactly.
It's hard to get good help.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, no one answered my call. I'm stuck here.
I'm just kidding.
Help me.
Our department has great project managers. I don't know about you guys.
Right.
Just kidding.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, people in our office are going to be like, what the hell? What was that?
Catching strays left and right.
Exactly. Yeah, we should do a roast on them right now.
Yeah, dude, the whiplash that we're going to see that Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
Monday, we'd probably get called into the office like, hey, so what you said?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he comes in wearing a net cast. You know, he's like, I took that personally.
Getting dirty looks for the next couple weeks.
At least.
Yeah. It was a general comment, but, they knew who we were talking about them.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, perfect point.
What do you mean, if you felt that we were talking about you?
Yeah. What do you mean? We didn't say names.
Exactly.
So the fact that you're upset right now.
Right. I mean,
this says more about you than it does about me.
Yeah, right, exactly.
No one said your name nowhere.
Exactly.
What do you mean? I was talking about you. No, I mean, we're kind of getting to the end. We have probably like 5-10 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Adrian, for any listeners that are, just really want to get out of the field or
customers
and die under a load of paperwork,
right? And emails.
Well, yeah. And like as techs, if we're getting like 30 emails a day, we're like, I can't keep up.
Yeah. Did you read that email yet? What were you guys doing? Installing? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you doing your job?
Yeah. We're it's great. We're under hours, but I think you guys could do it quicker.
Exactly.
And then, like in the same breath, you guys don't answer our emails. Like, bro, we're working. We're out here.
Yeah.
So what would you say your experiences, maybe things that you weren't expecting, maybe things that you were expecting that were true?
I think it's great for technicians to go, if that's what they want to do, to go into operations or go into the office in some capacity, because it's nice when a technician can call you and you can speak the same language, technical. Right. And they understand what you're saying. They know what part you're talking about. That's the issue you're having. I feel like that's good. And same thing with the customers when I'm answering an email or we're working through the projects. Like you said before, construction 8 a.m. meetings, follow up emails or meetings that we have without the technicians, but just kind of helping project manage and kind of push the job through to completion. I feel like it's for a technician to become a project manager or an operations manager, it's good to have that kind of technical background to, help explain to everyone else, the customer, the GC, ECs, what we need.
Well, right. It probably helps, maybe even like your upper management understand like where the technician's coming from, whereas like you're kind of that liaison between the technician and, upper management and sales. I'm sure it really helps. Like, hey, like, there's things that they're running into that maybe you guys didn't expect, or maybe I didn't expect, but they're like, we're not going to abandon the customer now.
Right.
Like, we have to do what's right by our customers and whatnot.
Yeah, because the people in the office, in operations, they just kind of look at the labor cost, material cost.
Right.
They don't understand what we know we're going to run into in the construction, on a service call.
Yeah, most of the time they're the ones that have the degrees.
Yeah.
So they're just looking at the numbers.
Right.
Whereas, and that's a great point. Like, I feel like because like the low voltage industry, same with high voltage too. Like they had a huge almost like hiring freeze. It was like hard to become an electrician. Or even a low volt electrician, like the last 15, 20 years, like guys that we actually work with, that some are still in the field, some gone into the office where they were like, I had to wait 3 years and I had, half a degree. I was a veteran, all this other stuff.
Right.
And now we can't keep up. They, like Oregon's apprenticeship is pushing more people through now per year than ever in history. So there was like we're kind of like still at, I don't even want to say the tail end of that, but I feel like we're mostly through that, where it was very hard to put techs into the office because it was hard to find, really good techs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then, the office, and I'm not throwing shade at them at all. A lot of them are very smart people, very capable people, but when they don't know what we're doing every single day, I mean, even just from like tiny standpoints, like you made, great points about, you're a great liaison to, upper management and you can actually understand what they're saying better. But like, even like from a service standpoint, like I have to be involved with almost everything when customers have questions and everything. Like they can't answer those questions. Yeah. So even like, they're middlemen for me. So, and like, I'm not being like, oh, boo-hoo me, but that does take, time out of my day or, efficiency, things I could be doing. But also, it's also hard on them because they don't know what they're, what to say. So like when you have somebody that came from the field into management, not only is it way easier on the techs, like me and Gerardo, to where we're not constantly, again, not complaining, but having to explain exactly and break everything down already, which we already did in our notes, so that it makes sense to get pushed forward. So you're helping us, but you're also helping the client. They're getting way faster response time. Yep, and exactly. And it does create a much better customer experience.
Yeah, and it builds the confidence with the customer when we can answer the phone, answer their question right away, or answer their email right away, and not have to rely on the technician. Hold on, let me get that information.
Right.
Let me, I'll reply back once I hear from
an email to the technician.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, hey guys,
not tell him I wrote the email.
Hey, you're gonna have to wait. He hasn't got back on that email.
Yeah, so it is nice and quicker. Real time.
How's your day going?
Situations. Yeah. So that is nice. Because we do get a lot of emails or phone calls from previous installs or long time customers where they have an issue. They may not need a service call. They just have a quick question or, hey, how do we fix this or adjust that? And it is nice. Yeah. So I'd have to say, if technicians do go in the office and they have that technical background, it is beneficial for the company and for the customer. Yeah.
And even probably your crew that work under you as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at almost, not every position, but at almost every position, like even like sales meetings, imagine how much, we do have, sales guys, like yourself, that have actual background, and it makes the meetings go by so much faster because you can be, they'll be like, hey, what are you seeing? Because I'll come to them being like, hey, this is a 15-year-old dumpster fire out here. This is what they need. This is what I think. It's kind of like when you're, I don't know how old most of our listeners are, but the manuals, the stick shift. When you're getting your clutch plate replaced, they replace everything else because you're already there. Yeah. So you can actually explain this. They know what you're talking about. You're like, this is happening because of this, and they're just clicking. Yep. And instead of a 45-minute meeting, I'm having 15-20-minute meetings, and it's going so smoothly. So I guess all of this to say thank you so much for leaving the field. I mean, we miss you, but
exactly.
But
yeah, and I would say we are in that time where the fire panels are starting to be old. They're 20 years old now, right?
Yeah.
And they're UL rated, UL listed, so it was always hard to replace them. But now it's at the point where, hey, we're barely keeping this panel alive. Yeah. It's time to upgrade.
Weekly CPR sessions.
Exactly. Service is getting more in depth now to keep this thing running. Same thing with security panels. We're seeing, older panels that, hey, the newer stuff is, way nicer, way quicker.
Yeah, even for the technician as well, when they're installing it, it's just like, it's almost just like you're whipping through 4 or 5 different, spots on your programming, whereas like some older panels, some other panels like Honeywells and stuff like that. I didn't really work on them, so having to learn how to work on them, they have like a star feature where it's like, you have to press star and then like 2 numbers to get to a setting, and then you can press pound and then that same number, it'll tell you what's in there. Like after working on it, like you kind of get the gist of it, but there's some other panels where like it's all just worded, so like at some point you'll run into what you're looking for, whereas like if you don't know like that one like star, I don't know, like 71 feature
all these numeric numbers you need to know what setting it's taking you to. And the newer panels have,
and it's just like zeros off,
alphanumeric keypads, and you know exactly what setting you're in.
For sure.
And actually use words on the keypad.
Exactly.
Because I don't do fire. We all know this.
The only fire I do is stardom.
Watch out.
No.
Actually, real quick. I mean, we're close. We're gonna close up pretty much right now. But I appreciate you. Like earlier in the episode, you differentiated. Like you were like, I do security. I do
cameras, and stuff,
access control. Because like most people that don't do access control, like pair us into security. They are completely different worlds. And there's a reason why all these trucks say security, fire, access,
But it is complete security. It really is. Like they marry so well together, and like depending on how layered you want your security, and it really does help, like that. I'm sure even before access systems, like keep a log and whatnot to like, if this person was here then, or it's almost even helpful, like, hey, like this person could swipe on this door and it doesn't open between these times, and you kind of start to figure out like what some issues are. It could be a scheduling thing or something, or that dude's card like broke in half or something, and he didn't realize it's like a 12-year-old card. Things like that. So, but it is a very, it's a very, I don't know, like it's a very deep portion of security that kind of is almost like a what do they call it, like when like it's its own spin-off almost, like it's just like that's its own thing now.
And a lot of those systems are integrated depending on the client, but when you really see like the huge difference between like what you'll do every day and what I'll do every day is like a lot of like my clients, they have 24/7 like security, so you don't need a bird panel. Like you're not actually really monitoring anything. I mean, you're monitoring all your doors, and there's someone watching all of that, and then guys walking around. But like if you don't have that, then you need security. You need like monitoring, and with your access control, which is what you're doing.
And just like you said, it ties in well together. If there's a door ajar, right, the door's left open for 30 seconds, the security or the customer has a camera they can view and see, okay, who's there, what's going on there, why is that door staying open?
Exactly.
So all the systems kind of tie well together, and
and like you said, they are
their own spin-offs.
They're brother and sister, brother and brother, whatever you want to call it. They're their own different people, but they are definitely in the same family.
100%.
But I can honestly say, if like I had to run like just a straight up like security job, like I couldn't do what you do.
It's not that hard. But I'm sure.
I passed the master. I passed the master certification for Bosch, so I know it's not that hard. So I guess a better way to say it is I would not do it as successfully. Like I could put in all the parts and everything and all that. But like once you get to programming, I'd be like, how you do that?
By the way, successfully is definitely a stretch.
I've seen your work.
And everyone gets good with their craft, right? And the systems that they commonly work on, and
for sure
learn the little best known methods and stuff like that, right?
Exactly. Because like, I mean, it took about like 7 years, like, because it takes about 2 years for electricity to click. And like when we were apprentices, they'd be like, don't worry about it. You're going to wake up one day and then you're going to be like, holy shit. Everything, all of it just kind of makes sense now.
More sense, yeah.
And it was just like that for me. I was like driving to work one day and I was like, why do I understand 80% more than when I fell asleep yesterday?
Of the things I've been doing for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Right, like trying to dream about it. I'm like, make it make sense, you know? Yeah. But just having, you know, like at about 7 years, I was just like, I now know access control so much and all the tips and tricks. I don't know the tips and tricks of security. So anyways, my point is they are definitely two separate things. You know, they're married for sure. Yeah. But, you know, you can absolutely have like Greg, guys who like know security, just like
shout out Greg.
Shout out Greg. You know, and, you know, they can walk you through something in their sleep. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's a good way to close out. You guys have anything?
Just shout out to those technicians that have those, you know, manuals memorized. Turn to page 8 and paragraph 2.
Reference 71.12.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you referring to the code book?
We appreciate you.
Yes. No, a textbook. All right.
But thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. And congratulations just on everything that you guys are doing.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Tyler and, you know, and Mike. And
the gang.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Mike.
Watching this
shout
thing
out
grow.
Tyler.
Yeah, can't wait to post more about Pipeline. That's coming up. Getting to test all the new tools and unreleased tools. And I just can't wait to be so annoyingly excited about how much better Milwaukee is than everyone else. But no, thanks. Thank you guys. And thanks for listening.
Shout out to the listeners. What are we thinking? This wouldn't be possible without them, I'm sure.
I mean, we might have been losing them for a second, and they're like, no, they really got a point on this. Why doesn't my PM drive parts out today?
Starting fires.
I'm still on hold on the phone. Why isn't anybody answering?
Why does this desk have a hold line? Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Half Watt Podcast. We always want to hear from you, and we encourage you to email us at halfwattpod@gmail.com with questions or even your own stories. Funny, crazy, or praiseworthy, we want to hear it all. You can follow us on Instagram at halfwattpod to stay up to date on our feed. And be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And share us with a friend, the best way to help us grow. The Half Watt Podcast is a production of Now Hear This Studios.